What if I told you that 17 little-known metals are quietly shaping America's economic future? They're inside our electric vehicles, our wind turbines, our most advanced electronics, and our high-efficiency motors, yet most of us have never even heard their names. These materials are called rare earth elements, and they might just be the most important materials of the 21st century. Welcome to Strategic Pivot. I'm Weston Gage. Today, we're breaking down what rare earth elements are, why they matter so much for American industry, and we'll tackle the key question. Should the United States strengthen its own supply chain? First, let's get clear on what these things are. Rare earth elements are a group of 17 metallic elements on the periodic table. Now, despite their name, they aren't actually that rare in the Earth's crust. What makes them so complex is how incredibly difficult they are to separate and refine. Think about it this way. You don't just find a chunk of neodymium, one of the key rare earths. You find it mixed in with a dozen other similar elements, and untangling them is a huge challenge. The refining process requires advanced chemistry, a lot of capital investment, and very strict environmental safeguards to do it responsibly. So why are they so essential? According to the U.S. Geological Survey, these materials are the secret sauce for high-performance magnets, and those magnets are the engines of our modern economy. They're what make electric vehicle motors spin efficiently. They're what allow massive wind turbines to generate renewable energy. Without these special magnets made from rare earths, our motors would become much heavier, much bulkier, and way less efficient. It would be like trying to build a smartphone with vacuum tubes. Now, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Think about the direction the entire global economy is heading. Electric vehicles are no longer a niche product. They're expanding across American highways every single day. Our capacity for renewable energy continues to grow year after year. This massive wave of electrification means one thing: an explosive demand for the critical materials that make it all possible. The International Energy Agency projects incredibly strong growth in demand for these minerals for decades to come. The transition to clean energy is, in many ways, a transition to a more mineral-intensive economy. This brings us to a critical question. Where do these materials actually come from? The production is very geographically concentrated, which creates a lot of risk. Right now, China plays a dominant role in the global processing of rare earths, while other countries like Australia are leading producers of the raw, and nations like Vietnam and Brazil hold significant reserves. The refining part of the puzzle is key. The United States does have production facilities, like the one in California, but mining the rock is only the first step. The real bottleneck is processing. That's the stage that turns raw material into a usable input for technology. Building out that processing capacity takes a huge amount of time. It requires specialized engineering, serious financing, and a thorough regulatory review process. This isn't something you can just switch on overnight. For investors, this means that rare earth projects involve very long timelines. You're looking at years, sometimes a decade, before a new facility is up and running. And on top of that, you have the wild swings of commodity price cycles, which add another layer of uncertainty. But despite these challenges, the long-term trend is undeniable. The global shift towards electrification is creating a sustained, powerful demand that isn't going away. In response, governments around the world are waking up to the risks and are exploring ways to diversify their supply chains. We're seeing companies start to invest in building domestic processing facilities right here in North America and in allied nations. At the same time, another promising solution is gaining momentum. Recycling. Researchers are developing innovative ways to extract rare earth materials from our old electronics, like discarded smartphones and laptops. This urban mining could one day become a significant source of these materials. Plus, innovation in material science might even help us reduce our reliance on the most in-demand elements by finding clever substitutes. So, this really brings us to a crossroads. And I want to ask you a question. Should America prioritize achieving domestic mineral independence, even if it's more expensive in the short term? Or is a diversified global trade network with our allies sufficient to secure our supply? Another angle to consider. Should the environmental permitting process be streamlined to accelerate the development of new domestic mines and refineries? Or should those safeguards remain as strict as they are, even if it means our green energy transition slows down? These are tough questions with real trade. I'd love to hear what you think, so drop your perspective in the comments below. Ultimately, rare earth elements sit right at the intersection of energy, technology, and national security. They are the foundational building blocks for advanced manufacturing in the 21st century. They directly influence the cost and performance of nearly every emerging technology, from 5G networks to medical imaging devices. The supply chains we decide to build today will have a profound impact on our economic stability for decades to come. These materials might not be grabbing the daily headlines like stocks or politics, but they are quietly, invisibly, powering the systems that we all depend on. Understanding their role gives you a strategic edge in understanding where the economy is headed. These are the gears turning behind the curtain of our modern world. If you value this kind of rational, evidence-based analysis that looks beyond the surface, make sure you subscribe to Strategic Pivot. I'm Weston Gage. If you found this video useful, please give it a like. It really helps the channel out, and share it with someone you know who's interested in business, energy, or global industry. In our next episode, we're going to do a deep dive and examine how one of the world's major producing countries approaches its own rare earth development strategy. Thanks for watching. Just a quick reminder, this content is for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice.